morning, everyone. I am Michelle Hoiboer-Winkler, and I am the Minister of Education and Family Policy of Aruba. And as head of the delegation of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone this morning at this year's side event at the CSW.
To me, intersectionality comes into practice when we navigate that space between what we know for sure, our own personal experiences, and what we only know in theory, the experiences of others, those that we yearn to partner with in justice. Intersectionality is not merely jargon used on college campuses. It isn't a buzzword people use to perform how smart and aware they are about the world. Intersectionality is an act. It is an act that requires us to be inclusive, exacting, and accountable to one another. Intersectionality is difficult work that requires us to extend beyond our own personal experiences and ourselves, to show up for one another, and to be courageous as we struggle together and also struggle with one another.
Maybe we know that we cannot lump everyone in the same box. Not all women can be defined just as women. Not all men can be defined as just men. And to do so doesn't take into account everyone's own particular gendered experiences and perceptions. Now, before we can ever hope to influence anyone or have them understand what perspectives we come from when we talk about gender equality and the need for gender equality for development, peace, and everyone's human rights, we first really need to understand where they are coming from. And that's a very important part of intersectionality.
It seems so logical that rather than us all thinking our own little silo was the most important thing to work on, it seemed to make sense that we would not just cooperate together, but actually really connect together around the agendas that we wanted to progress. We wanted to progress a more just, a more equitable, a more fair world. And I would say that we all don't agree on everything. The idea that we can reach agreement, I don't think agreement is necessary. I think empathy for others, trying to understand and having a relationship where we learn over a course of time, that's what we've been doing. And I believe that that's the way, in a solidarity, intersectional way, we really are trying to advance women's reproductive and sexual rights around the world.
I would want to summarize this in a short phrase that is very popular. It comes from the disability rights movement, which says nothing for us without us. It means that you cannot work for a community without involving the community. For me, that just doesn't make sense. How can you make laws or policies or any kind of initiative that we as social justice workers, activists are doing if we are not involving the community that we are working with or on? I think there's a huge difference in gender equality, and I prefer not to use that word, as opposed to gender equity and social justice. Social justice is affirmative action, and gender equality is something that is on the premise that the base opportunities were equal to then come up and say that they are striving for equality. You cannot strive for gender equality when your base is not equal. So my summarizing my points, one would be not to have to involve the community, and two, affirmative action is more important than talking about equality. Yeah.
I want to thank everyone so much for coming out to this side event. I want to especially thank Anthony, Japleen, and John for being my conversation partners. Three of their takeaways were: look and use your privilege, nothing about us without us, ensuring that we include marginalized voices and activists on the ground, as said, on the perimeter of the room, and also practice tolerance. Great takeaways. Thank you all so much.